Greetings of the day, friends. This class is also going to be very useful to you because in this today's class, we are going to study in detail about interview skills part first. It is said that मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके रास्तों में जान होती है. So those students who are going to prepare for an interview, so this skill is going to be a very essential skill related with their job. So let's start in our today's class. We are going to study in detail about the introductory part of an interview. Why the interviews are conducted in the government sector, in the private sector, at the same time in service sector, and we also want to understand the systematic process of an interview. So let's enjoy this teaching and learning process. Dear friends, the interviews are nothing but it's a one kind of free arranged and planned kind of conversation. Here, this kind of conversation is happening between the candidate who is appearing for an interview and a group member of panel. Here, in short, we observe that it's a nothing but a one kind of sight, a one kind of vision between the candidate and a group member of panel who are taking the interview of that particular candidate. Interviews are conducted while keeping a one kind of purpose in their mind. Here, this purpose is to select the appropriate candidate for the particular position. Whenever the candidate who is preparing for an interview, so the success of interview it depends on whatever kind of depth knowledge here the candidate have. For example, if the candidate is belonging from the computer field, so he should have the proper kind of knowledge about the basic languages, hardware, software, and so on. It is said that the success of our whole professional life and our academic life it depends on our self confidence. So whatever kind of self confidence we have, so this self confidence is going to uh, make one kind of growth in our career. And self confidence is a matter of more and more practice. The more practice we are doing, the more reading we are doing, the more practicals we are doing, then automatically our one kind of self confidence is going to enrich. Here, in this world of information and technology, one kind of weightage is given to our presentation skills. So, here, the same point here, the candidates they want to keep it in mind that how they are presenting to themselves in an interview. It counts a lot. So, like the presentation skills, the candidate he also wants to take care about whatever kind of non-verbal communication he is using. Here, the candidate who can use the proper kind of eye contact with the panel member of who are conducting the interview. It shows a one kind of confidence in his eyes. Then, at the same time, our personal appearance, our gesture, posture, proxemics. So these are all the things which here the candidate he wants to keep it in mind. Here the maintaining the proper eye contact and using the freehand gesture. Then at the same time, whenever the candidate he is appearing for an interview, whether the candidate have the positive attitude or not, it will be checked by the panel members. They will state any one of the problem to the candidate and they will check whether the candidate is ready to find out one kind of solution about it or not. So it is nothing but again one kind of matter about the logical reasoning here the candidate should have. So in short, the success of whole interview it depends on the depth knowledge of the candidate, whatever kind of self confidence he have, his presentation skills, and how the candidate is using the non-verbal communication while interacting with the members, one kind of positive attitude, and one kind of logical reasoning. Whenever we're trying to analyze the exact definition about an interview, so the interview is nothing but it's a one kind of formal kind of meeting, and here this kind of meeting is happening between the candidate and the panel members. Here some kinds of rules and regulations here they want to follow. Here a set of questions is asked to the candidates, and the candidate are giving the reply to them. So in this today's world of information and technology, in this today's world of very fast world, we are facing various kinds of challenges. The challenges are nothing but it is a world of growing competition. The competition is increasing day by day in all fields, and there are the various kinds of changing demands are there in the today's market. And at the same time, at present time, one kind of professionalism is growing. And here the panel members who are conducting the interview of the candidate, their major focus is on to check the personal qualities of the candidate. John D. Singleton says about the interview, very often the difference between the person hired and the person is rejected not how is the better candidate, but who is better prepared for the interview. Careers can be made and lost at that point alone. So, dear friends, if we are trying to analyze here these given quotes, here the John D. Singleton, his major focus is on this candidate will be selected who have prepared in a very better way for an interview. So that's why one kind of dedication, one kind of hard work is required before appearing for an interview. We can observe here in the given picture how the interviewer is sitting very properly, very neatly, and he is looking completely professional. So the candidate he is sitting in a very good posture, gesture he is using, and here the candidate he is trying to create a one kind of first good impression in his interview. We have analyzed what is meant by an interview. Now, dear friends, it's a time to understand why the interviews are conducted and what is the purpose of an interview. So, whenever the various companies like the Tata Consultancy, Infosys, Mahindra Tech, they are conducting various kinds of interviews. So, their basic purpose is they want to select the appropriate candidate for the particular position. So the interviews are nothing but it's a one kind of fruitful kind of information which is exchanged between the candidate who is appearing for an interview and a group member of panel members. So this is one of the purpose of an interview. And here, as we have discussed earlier, here panel members they are monitoring the performance of the candidate. In short, they are checking the knowledge, confidence, and the attitude of the candidate. And at the same time, if they found the candidate needs the counseling, they also do the one kind of counseling to the candidate. So these are some of the major kind of purposes that we want to keep it in mind. Dear friends, it's a time to understand the systematic process of job interviews. So, being as a candidate, whenever we are sending our job application with our resume and educational testimonials to particular company like Tata Consultancy, Infosys, and Reliance. Here we want to keep it in mind that here our job application and our resume is evaluated by HR and their team. They will select the best written job applications and the resumes. They will go through also the educational testimonials of the candidate, their experience, and they call to the candidate. So here the various kinds of competency tasks are given at present time to the candidate. For example, any one of the difficult situation will be given to the candidate, and in that difficult situation they will check whether the candidate is able to take proper decision or not. So at the same time, at present time, the various kinds of psychological tests are also taken by the particular company. For example, they will check the motivation of the candidate, whether the candidate have the goal in his career or not. At the same time, the candidate is able to do the proper kind of time management or not. The candidate is following the recent trends or not. So they are checking the psychological tests of the candidate, and at the same time they are checking the competence. They are providing the various kinds of competency tasks to the candidate. And once the candidate qualified in both tests, and they are inviting to the candidate to appear for the group discussion. In what kind of situation the group discussion is organized? For example, if in any one of the company there are only 50 vacancies are there for the software developer, and if they are getting 500 job applications, so in this kind of situation, here the company is organizing the group discussion, and those candidates who have successfully participated in the group discussion, then these candidates are invited for the stress interviews. Here in the stress interviews, a shower of questions are asked by the panel members to the candidate, and here they are checking whether the candidate have the proper kind of knowledge or not. They are checking the confidence level. They are checking the attitude of the candidate, whether the candidate have the proper kind of negotiation skills or not. Once here the candidate is selected by the particular group member of panels, and after selection of the candidate, they also take the medical test of the candidate. Conclude the part first of an interview skills. We have discussed in detail about what is meant by in an interview, how the interviews are one kind of formal kind of meeting between the candidate and a group member of panels, and whenever the interviews are conducted by the various companies, what they want to select one kind of appropriate kind of candidate in their company. And the last point that we have discussed in our today's class, that was the process of job interviews, in which we have discussed about how the screening of applications is done, how there is also one kind of appraisal of CVs and resume, one kind of importance of competency tasks which are assigned to the students, and how one kind of psychological test is also done by recruiters. One kind of scope of group discussion, how here panel members they are also checking the negotiation skills of the candidate, and how one kind of importance of medical tests. So I'm sure that this class is also going to be very useful to you to prepare nicely from the employment point of view. And dear friends, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our channel. So thank you all of you, and have a wonderful day.